West tournament obviously didn't end how you guys wanted to. How are you looking at this opportunity to keep playing and have a chance here in the NIT?
Yeah, I mean it's still cool to have, like you mentioned, an opportunity to, you could still finish your season with a win. Not very many people get to say that. Or, Coach Rice mentioned how there's a lot of people that would want to be in our position, maybe not getting to play postseason. So we've got to take it for what it is. Obviously it was tough down there, and we're all hurting for that. We've worked so hard towards making it into the NCAA tournament, having that be our goal. But we can't sit and feel sorry about it. We've got another opportunity to play in one of the best sports venues in the whole world. So I think we're all on board on that and ready to go. And I think we can be a sleeper in this one and shock a lot of people.
What can you take from last year's experience of going on the road to Utah, winning that game on a quick turnaround for this year's game with Washington?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be big for us. We had some of the young guys that actually were a big part of that game too, which helped us win that game at Utah and get our first road postseason victory in school history. So from that aspect, there is experience there, and it's good to have been through that and know what to expect. We can attack this whole thing just like we attack everything else, and like we know with the NIT, we're used to the rule change, the difference, and how things are going to be shaken up a little bit. So it's kind of an advantage being able to play there last year and then having the same kind of deal going in this year.
I think that the last true finisher here was probably Derek Marks, the guy that always had the ball in his hand at the end of games. How hard is it to be in that situation? And the highs have got to be incredibly high and the lows have got to be incredibly low. So how do you kind of learn and grow throughout it all?
Yeah, I mean, that's, for one, that's something I never, for one, take for granted, because to be able to, be in the position time after time, to have the ball in your hands and either make or miss, the game winner or whatever it may be, it says a lot about the trust that the coaches put in you. And for me, what I've been able to show and what I've been able to do at times like that. So, really, I wouldn't want it any other way. I've worked so hard to be in that position, to have that trust and to, make those decisions and whatnot. So, like you mentioned, yeah, it's really nice when, the ball goes in, and when it doesn't, you gotta just, deal with it, take what you can and learn from it, try to make you better. And that's definitely what I've been able to do and been able to bounce back when some of those things happen.
I know October was a long time ago, but you can't talk too much about the scrimmage, but you guys are familiar with Washington a little bit, right? I mean, so what can that do for you maybe?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird how it kind of worked that way. The first team we saw this season is, potentially the last excuse me, team we're going to face. But, I mean, obviously, unless we get the win and we keep moving. But, yeah, we are a little familiar with them. We know that they are a pretty good defensive team. They like to mix up their zone. They have a lot of length. I remember we had a ton of turnovers last time we played against them. I think like 22 or something. But also we were highly successful against them. We out-rebounded them by like 20. And, I mean, this is all a close scrimmage. So, they've gotten a lot better. We watched them a little bit. They beat one at Kansas. They're a good team. And so it's going to be a good test for us. But being a little familiar with them definitely helps. And we're going to know what to expect and try to do the same thing, same kind of game plan we can that was successful the first time.
How frustrating was that game? We didn't get a chance to talk to you after the game, just to be out with foul trouble as much as you were, and then come in and have some short shots not fall. And then, with all that being said, you had a three that, fairly open, good look at the end. What were just your thoughts on that? And did you think it had a chance to go down? Or?
Yeah, I mean, it was tough. It was with the foul trouble was kind of threw me off the rhythm, and not playing for about a week and then sitting the majority of the first half. It was tough. It was tough for me to establish a rhythm. But I mean, I've had to deal with that all year. I've had some foul trouble, so that's not an excuse. It was just, it was tough because we were playing really well, and I wanted to in that first half. And even though I had the foul trouble, I still wanted to be in there. The coaches trusted me, but it was kind of a situation where we're playing all right, so, sit it out, maybe risk not being in the best rhythm because we're playing well. And then, ultimately it kind of had a little bit to do with the second half. Couldn't really, the ball didn't go the way that I wanted and the way that it has. But, it's tough. You can't just, base one game kind of just on the whole season, although it feels like, you know, you want to sometimes, but it makes things a lot better that we've got a huge opportunity coming up for us this week.
You know, you guys are at the point in time of the season where it's win or go home, and you've talked so many times about the bond of this team. So how much do you think that will help, you know, motivate you guys?
I mean, that's especially in a tournament like this where you get a lot of teams that, you know, miss the NCAA tournament and are, you know, on that low there of maybe not seeing their name called, and maybe younger guys that that postseason doesn't mean as much to them. It's going to play in our favor because we know how precious these games are, and we know how much we like to play with each other and love each other. So, you know, there's no kind of feeling that we're not going to attack this 100% and try to go win some games and get to Madison Square. You know, for us, we're going to have that kind of chip and that advantage over teams that maybe are feeling sorry for themselves, or coaches that maybe don't know how to coach their team after a letdown from not making the tournament. You know, nothing's going to change for us. We're looking forward to even more, you know, maybe taking that sour taste out of our mouths and focusing on our next goal, which is here, winning a couple in a row and still being, having a chance at being the best team in school history, and that's something we're going to attack full on.
How motivated are you personally to you know, get something done before your career here ends? And we saw last year when you struggled in the tournament, you went out against Utah and had 34. I mean, how kind of focused or motivated are you to make sure your Boise State career continues here for a little bit longer?
That's really right there is like, that's my main motivation right there is I'm not ready, and you know, I'm not done playing with these guys. I want to, you know, play as long as I can. And so that for there is the motivation that I need, and just wanting to do it kind of for, you know, not even for me individually for my season, right? It's just for us, you know, together to being able to still accomplish a goal that we've had, you know, written up there for all these guys. You know, Lexus and Chris came here too, to, you know, obviously make the NCAA tournament, but, you know, given a really kind of like a second chance and still able to do some pretty big things that have never been done in this program, you know, that motivation for me is all I need. So I'm ready to go. As you know, it could be, it doesn't matter what kind of tournament it is or whatever. We got another game, so I'm gonna attack it as if it's, you know, first game of the year, last game of the year, conference championship, whatever it may be. That's how I'm gonna focus and take it.